How concerned should the Cavs be about Isaiah Thomas?
Well, they have to be a little concerned because a hip injury is serious. He didn't get surgery, and I'm going to get to that in a second. And in the end, they did give up a second-round pick to complete the deal. The Celtics did, which indicates that they acknowledge that there is some, maybe a little more downside risk than they let on. Although, again, I don't know how the Cavs could have been that stupid, because I know the downside risk just from being a person who reads things. So how could they not know the downside risk? The best estimates I've seen are something like recovery from arthroscopic surgery on the hip. Elite athletes return to elite form something like 3 out of 4 times, right? So 75% of the time, they're 3 times more likely than not to. But 25% downside, to not be the same, that's legit. And now I'll get to it. He didn't get surgery, right? So maybe he really did need it, right? And that could be a problem because this is the last year of his deal. I think when you look at the odds, the most kind of realistic projection is that Isaiah Thomas is likely at some point to return to being the real Isaiah Thomas at some point in this season. And I'll tell you why that's just fine for the Cavs, Stephen A., so long as that's the case. Because if he needs surgery, forget about it. But if he didn't need surgery, as it turns out, and he returns to being himself, even by the playoffs, even if it takes him all season, LeBron by himself will be a top 4 seed in the East. The Cavs don't have to think about the regular season along those lines, nor, even with the improved Celtics, do I think the Cavs need home court in order to get to the finals. I'm telling you right now, I think the Cavs are getting to the finals, barring catastrophic injury, but maybe that includes to Isaiah Thomas. So this assumes Isaiah's okay. And then once you get to the playoffs, as long as Isaiah Thomas is Isaiah Thomas, Cavs ain't gonna lose. You talk about Kyrie the closer, that's legit. How's Isaiah as a clutch player? How's Isaiah as a closer? Remember, he doesn't have to carry the load with LeBron there. Just be the guy who can ISO and do all that stuff as Kyrie did when LeBron takes a rest. So you mean to tell me you have a healthy and fully motivated Isaiah Thomas in the playoffs looking for redemption? In his walk year, going into a new contract, he's playing for a max deal, and he's been severely underpaid his entire career? Yeah, I'll take that if I'm the Cavs. So, of course, there's downside risk. You have to have your eyebrow raised. But I think the most realistic projection is the Cavs are going to be just fine.
All that blather you just threw out is totally irrelevant because nobody's questioning any of those things about Isaiah Thomas and his skills. We have one question and one question only. It's the hip. It's the hip. And last time I checked, you are many things, but you are no doctor, and neither am I. That is the concern. That is the only concern. But it also legitimizes any concerns that LeBron James and Tyronn Lue may or may not have. Because if Isaiah Thomas can't go because his hips are that bad and they don't fully recover, you've got yourself a problem. Not just because of what he can't give you, but also because of what you gave away in favor of what he could give you. Kyrie Irving is a bad somebody. Averaged 25 a game, shot better than 45% from the field, about 40% from three-point range. Got arguably the best handle in basketball. He's a nasty offensive player. You're going to miss out on him. You had damn well better have something in return to make up for it, at least somewhat. If Isaiah Thomas is on the court, there's nothing to be concerned about. If he's not on the court because of those hips, you've got yourself a problem. And that's what legitimizes the concern for LeBron and Tyronn Lue, assuming that they are concerned. Now, LeBron has told everybody, he's going out of his way to make sure everybody knows he's had nothing to do with the talks. He had nothing to do with somebody getting traded. He doesn't want any part of that. Come training camp, he's going to be ready to go this season to compete for a championship. That's his mission. He's got nothing to say. He ain't getting involved in none of that. Fine. But he is a high-level individual as a basketball player and a superstar, and his IQ is not to be disputed either. He knows what's required in order to win. And without Isaiah Thomas, that's a devastating blow to a Cavs team that just lost Kyrie Irving. It's all about his health.
Let me get this straight. What I said is irrelevant, even though it was totally relevant, because I'm not a doctor. So should we just not comment on medical issues? Isn't that what we're doing
No, what
here?
I'm saying is,
and can we not
well,
look
I'm
up
answering
the
your
statistics
question.
for recovery?
Was it a rhetorical question, or do you want me to
read those
answer your
statistics?
question? Was it a rhetorical question, or did you want me to
rhetorical
answer your question? Oh, it was rhetorical. Okay,
Rhetorical.
then I won't answer.
Now, you bring up
I won't
Kyrie
answer.
Irving, his scoring average, and his shooting percentage. We had a debate about this yesterday when you claim I'm all about the metrics. I rarely bring up stats in basketball. In fact, you frequently refer to them.
You bring them
just
up, you
refer to the
live
wrong
off of them.
stats.
That's a
but
lie.
Since you referred to those stats, I will bring up some stats in return. Isaiah Thomas averaged almost 29 points a game, 28.9 points a game. Shot over 46% from the field in spite of being 1'3". By the way, you could look that up. He's 1'3". And by the way, he shot almost 379, almost 38% from three. So Isaiah offensively gives you just about exactly what Kyrie gives you offensively, even the same type of offense. The difference is he can't play defense in high leverage situations. So Kyrie is he's capable of doing that. He's a better player. But of course, we're talking about the information you and I can gather and thinking people can gather about the hip. Unless there is new information that we don't know about, unless Isaiah Thomas really should have gotten surgery, and even that is hard to say. Even doctors have to see the way this plays out. Medical science is not like astronomy. It's not an exact science, right? But unless his hip cannot recover in time for the playoffs in order for him to be Isaiah, they'll be fine. And apparently, from what I can gather, there's a 3 out of 4 shot, which is pretty damn good, that is hit by the time the playoffs roll around. He'll be back to being Isaiah.
The question was, how concerned should the Cavs be? My response was, only in regards to his injury. That's the concern. There's nothing about the games to be concerned about. There is no other concern. There is no other concern.
Right.
Zero.
Of course not. Why would they be? But there would never be another concern. Why would there be another concern? Isaiah can do what Kyrie does offensively. Crowder can play defense and also do some things offensively. They got a top draft pick. They got a big center with upside potential who's young, who would have been a top 10 draft pick this year. We all agree it's a good deal. What we're talking about here is how concerned should the Cavs be about Isaiah's hip?